speaking of having fun pushing buttons,
Oh yeah.
let's talk about Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh
I
yeah.
I played a lot the first 2 days. I actually didn't get it. Did I play it yesterday? No, I think I did play. I think I played 3 matches yesterday. I was 2-1 yesterday. Um, the game is. I'm still searching for something that I don't like.
There's one thing about the game I don't like. I
Yeah, I
don't
haven't
like
found.
that every screen asks me for a cancel or confirm.
Say that
If I
again.
I don't like that every screen asks me for a cancel or confirm. It just feels like an extra step to everything. It's like main menu, yes. Cancel or confirm that. Yes, I said yes. Yes, main menu. Game. Get me out of here. Everything feels like that. Stop and it's spelled with a C. Stay on brand. Stay on brand.
Right.
What are these words spelled with C's? But no, in all seriousness, first, okay, let's talk a little controversy before we get into the review. We both like the game. Spoiler alert: we both like the game. It's an awesome game, and I want to get into the awesomeness of the game in a little bit. But let's talk about the controversy. So there's two controversies with the game.
Yes.
One controversy was with the quote unquote loot boxes. So there's this awesome area called the crypt,
Hmm.
where you take all your currency with a K from
Okay.
the
Well,
game.
okay. So there's three controversies because you just named one that's different than the two I was thinking.
Okay, so all right, well let's get into it. So you go into the crypt and you unlock all of the stuff. Now the way you get the currency is to play in the towers, right?
Okay.
And you do the tower and the towers of time when the game came out were really hard.
Okay.
And we
No.
don't
Same controversy.
same
Same one.
controversy. So and we don't mean hard like you're a scrub, get better. No, we talking about personal. We talking about professional fighting game players who know all the combos, getting hit by unblockable missiles that were like a condition of the match. These aren't normal matches. They had too many unblockables. NetherRealm said we did not do this to nickel and dime you guys. There's not that many microtransactions in the game, so it wasn't about microtransactions. It just which was a mistake that a lot of the game and media picked up. They saw that there was microtransactions in the game. They assumed that it was designed to be grindy so you pay for it. You cannot go in and buy everything in the game. It's not even designed like that. There are streamers who are like, if I could have bought it, I'd have bought it already because I'm tired of these towers of time, but I can't buy it. NetherRealm immediately held a podcast about it,
Hmm.
did a hot fix for some of the things. They have a patch that's supposed to go up today or tomorrow, Monday the latest, to address the rest of the stuff. And as an apology for something that was basically only a day 1 and 2 problem,
Yep.
they're going to give 500,000 combat coins in addition to other currencies to their base. This is a company that just gets it. They
Yep.
have had thorough, consistent community feedback since day negative 45, introducing the characters, explaining the mechanics. They understand their tournament scene and their casual scene. They understand the people who are just there for the story just as well as the people who are there because they want to get really good and compete in tournament. So huge props to them for jumping on top of that problem and fixing it. The towers are fine now. They're going to put in another fix to make it a little easier, but do understand they want the towers to be challenging. They want some there for the people who are good and some there for the people who are casual. But they've already toned it down. They subtracted the health of the bad guys by like 50% in the towers or something like that. The health was too high. So all of that's already taken care of. The other controversy was the female characters. That was another one
Mm.
people
Oh, see,
people
I
cried
know.
about.
Okay, we do have a separate controversy.
Okay, so controversy number two, and I'm going to put the artist hat on this one again for guys who don't know me. I'm a professional comic book artist and designer, so I want to speak to this a little bit. The controversy was that the women were wearing too many clothes. That back in the day, the Mortal Kombat women were all in bikinis, and now they saw some characters when the game launched, and they were like, covered toe to neck. And when asked about it, one of the art directors said basically, we wanted to be more respectful of our female characters. They wouldn't be going out there in bikinis fighting. And so people got very outraged at this for some good reasons, some bad reasons, right? The outrage is because you got people like Kano and Liu Kang and Shao Kahn who's out there in no shirt, or Shao Kahn's out there in his drawers, and they look like they're in their barbarian gear. Basically, only their genitals are covered, and they're allowed to do that. But women, they get treated differently. People didn't like that. Both from the female side, there are a lot of female, women YouTubers and streamers who felt that that was unfair because that's like saying if a woman wears a bathing suit, she's disrespecting herself. And we see female athletes, they don't always wear a lot of clothes, right? You look at volleyball, you look at MMA, they're wearing tight, form-fitting clothes. But the people who jumped on that controversy were reacting to his words. When you actually play the game, there's a lot of skin tight outfits in the game, and there's quite a few outfits in what could be favorably called booty shorts with a little covering on top of the booty shorts. There's some boob windows in there. You play the story mode, there's plenty of butt shots in the story mode.
There are.
I do not think that they played super conservative. I think the problem with Mortal Kombat with their female design happens also with their ninjas.
With the
They,
who's?
the ninjas,
Okay.
right? No, I mean ninjas. I mean actual ninjas.
No, that was pretty funny. No, I know it was just funny.
Yeah. Not, I don't. So the thing about
Ooh,
the
that was funny.
ninjas that's been my complaint for a while with Mortal Kombat is they don't look very ninja, right?
Yeah,
They don't look stealthy or quiet. They look like they walking around in a leather trench coat designed to look like a ninja outfit. It looks
yeah.
heavy. It looks hot. They got metal clinking and clanking, and you're supposed to be a ninja. Hey, sneaky, who you sneaking up on? Scorpion and Sub-Zero walking down the hallway, you hear
So,
clink, clank, clink, clank.
so what you're saying is all ninjas are sneaky?
Yeah, that's right. Some sneaky ass ninjas, man. You know how ninjas are,
I was just looking at all these ninjas.
right? And the women are supposed to have some of that aspect in their design, where
Yeah.
the design's supposed to feel sleek and fast. So one example is Jade. She's supposed to be this desert character, and when you look at the drawing of her design, it looks like it makes sense. She looks more like she's wrapped up in like a, like desert gear, right? Scarves and hoods hide you from the sun, but it's still loose and windy. But in the game, it's like a leather version of that, and she looks hot as hell. And her power is to absorb blood through her skin. So why would she be wearing her skin totally covered?
Well, honestly, man, I think all of that kind of stuff is just so silly, man. Like,
I
why
agree.
why are we even talking about whether or not the characters in Mortal Kombat have on enough clothes? Like, really? Like that to me, that is just I mean, that's the last thing that I want to be talking about. Like, I mean, I think it's the most petty, dumb thing I've ever heard in my life. Like I'm just convinced that this generation just is looking for something to complain about at all times. Like they're not fine unless they can say that somebody is mistreating somebody, even if it's not them. They want to intercede on somebody else's behalf. Well, I'm not a dog, but I think that all dogs go to heaven, and you're not. Like, what, dude? Shut up, man. Like, what is going on? Like, it's just
Right.
ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, and they made a big deal controversy about it. I think honestly this is the best the Mortal Kombat women have looked. I think their facial designs are the best they've looked in a long time. I mean, and now to get to let's get to the third controversy before we
Yeah.
talk about.
So the third controversy is related to Jax. Now,
Oh yeah.
there were people saying that Jax's ending in the story mode was racist. And so I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but this is just as ridiculous, if not as ridiculous as the concept that the girls have on too many clothes. I mean, like, dude, there's no way to win, right? So if the girls didn't have on any clothes, then they'd be going through some dead or alive type of a
Hmm.
controversy where now we're talking about the women are scantily clad and all that. There's no winning because no matter what happens, somebody's going to say that you have offended them in some way, shape, or form. And you know what? It's a video game, bro. That's what it is. So would you relax and have some fun? Push some buttons. Push some buttons. Just push some. I'm pushing buttons right now. I'm pushing buttons right now. Nelson got to talking about Mortal Kombat, and I just felt like I needed to kick somebody.
I like it.
I
So
had to.
I totally agree with you. And the thing about Jax's ending is a fantasy of his character.
Yes.
It's not the game telling you the way the world should be. So if you don't like Jax's ending, maybe that means you don't like Jax. That's totally okay. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's Mortal Kombat. Let me tell
It's
you,
a
here's spoiler
character.
alert.
It's a character, man. And why is it that everything has to be even in a like we don't look for like these statements, these moral statements in movies. So why do we look for them in video games? It's
And let's talk about the game they're looking for. Then, so in Mortal Kombat, there's a part in the story mode. This ain't a spoiler. You're Cassie Cage, and you're supposed to spar with Sonya, your mom, to
right.
prove yourself.
Yep.
And in this fight, I hit her in the forehead with the bottom of my gun, broke her skull, kicked her in the stomach, shot her in the knees.
Yes.
She fell down, bled all over the floor in front of our coworkers, and then after the fight was over, got up, totally clean, and said, "Good job, kid.
Right.
This the game y'all want to have fights over?"
Right. And so now can somebody say, well, this is being a proponent of children beating up their parents?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
we're living in preposterous land right now. So why is that no good?
Yeah, it's silly to argue these kinds of topics over Mortal Kombat. I don't think the game is political. I don't think the game is woke or not woke enough. I think it's an awesome, fun video game with great developers who really appear to be paying attention. I think the microtransaction thing totally misread by most of the mainstream gaming media who don't dig deep into the game. I think the clothing thing is just flat out wrong. Y'all didn't beat story mode. Y'all exposed yourselves. And the Jack is just one. The Jack's thing is one ending from one character. It's not the theme of the whole game
No.
by any stretch. He could
It's
be wrong.
no. I mean, and here's the thing. It's not as if I could almost see if Jax turned into Nat Turner. Which I think would have been pretty awesome. Not because I want to see people, a bunch of white people killed, but I just think that from a historical standpoint,
Right.
and having a character go that way would have been like, whoa. Now, but I could understand if that's what happened. If Jack said, "I decided to set the world white," right, and that meant killing every white slave on a man, whether it be man, woman, or child.
Right.
I
Right.
did
Right.
it, and then I burned them on the forehead with my cigar. Now, if that had happened, then I could understand
But
people
and even
saying,
if that happened, all that means is Jax is an a-hole.
right,
That's
right,
all it means. You're like, oh man, I thought you was cool. You a jackass.
right. I mean, and I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, you know. So,
Brian, like, I ain't saying he's right, but I understand.
I'm saying,
Don't let me get the time stone.
I'm saying that actually happened in history.
Yeah,
Nat
yeah, yeah,
Turner
yeah.
led a slave revolt and nearly took over. I think it was in Virginia. It was at Gabriel Prosser's in Virginia. He led one of the most one of the most prolific slave revolts in American history, right? So that actually happened. But I can understand why people might say, well, man, that's a lot to show in a video game, he killed, whatever. But at the same token, you flip it kills me when people start to quantify sins, right? So you're sitting up and you're playing a video game, like you just said, where you're beating up your mother to a bloody pulp, punching her all in the
Mhm.
head, knocking her down, busting her teeth out. But then you say something about, oh, well, I think it was racist that Jax only wanted to free the African American slave. There's other slaves. What? So now the moment you pick up Mortal Kombat and say I'm gonna play, you are agreeing to throw most morals out of the window because
Yeah.
you are about to rip somebody's head off.
And just to be real with y'all for a second, I think if you're black, you know a lot of black folks with a lot of silly ideas of what they would do if they went back in time. They probably told you after a night of enjoying some adult recreation. You know what I do? I go back and do this. You be like, man, I don't agree with you. And Jackson's just that dude.
Jax is that guy. Jax is the one who
Right.
everybody had a boy that said, I wish I would try to whoop me in slavery. Whoop me
Right.
for time. I'm smashing massa. I'm killing him. I'm killing
Right.
him. Jax is that guy.
He
Okay.
literally
That's
gonna
what
go
Jax
back in time with bionic arms and punch the slave owners, like, and make sure this never happens. Like, it's silly.
It's
Maybe
silly.
Jackson's
That
silly.
is the word. That is the
Right.
word. It is absolutely silly.
And that's
The whole
totally
thing.
okay.
And honestly, I wasn't really that much of a fan of the people whining and crying about the difficulty level of the towers. I mean, I understood on one hand, right? But see, I guess what I can't get out of my head, right, is that this generation is so soft. Like, it's so freaking soft, man.
I
Like,
understand where you're going with this,
but,
B,
but,
but
but,
I
but but
gotta argue on this one.
let me say what
Go
let
ahead,
me say what I'm saying.
please.
I feel like there used to be games back in the day that were either flat broken, just flat broken, or they were so freaking hard that it was just out of, oh my god, this is, you can't tell me this game is this hard. And but we didn't, there was nobody to cry to. There was nobody to say, hey, man, y'all really need to change this game because it's too hard for me. Like, it's just something about saying that out of my mouth. You need to change the rules because it's too hard for me. What? What? Really? Where they do that at? Like,
Okay,
I just,
in theory, I agree with you, but game design is an art, right?
right?
And it's supposed to work. And when you have a community that has dedicated literally millions of hours to your game over the years, and they are better at your game than you are, and you trust them to come in and test your game, and they tell you that the difficulty's broken, that's a different thing than somebody like we see with 2K. They go, I don't have enough attributes in my career. Meanwhile, a good 2K player is averaging anywhere from 50 to 100 points in my career or Hall of Fame, right? You get enough attributes to be better than an NBA player, any NBA player who's ever lived, no matter what position you play in 2K. So that's different because you're talking about scrubs not putting in the time and the effort to really exploit their advantages as a player to raise their skill. They want the game to be brought down to their skill level. We're talking about the best players in the history of Mortal Kombat being like, this is impossible. And not, again, it's not impossible because I'm playing a game of Mortal Kombat and I'm just not good enough. I'm missing my punishes, I'm missing my execution. You're literally throwing unblockable missiles and meteorites at me from off the screen. And it takes, 40 hours to beat 4 towers, and you only give me, you know, 20,000 coins for it. I unlock 4 boxes. This is not good. And
Well,
we're the best players. We're the best players on the planet.
well,
Y'all can't beat us.
I did see one person say that it's not that the difficulty was too hard, that they were like, it's beatable, and I see how to beat it, and I can beat it, and I am beating it. He said, but my problem is that it feels really tasky, and it's not actually fun beating the task. That was the way
Well,
one person explained it.
and here's the thing. Again, I'm going to the best players on the planet here, right? So I consider them the authority because they have the physical tactics to beat the hardest computer, right? And what they were saying is for the amount of currency you get, this is supposed to be a farming mode. And it's not a predictable, fair thing. See, it's one thing if it's difficult, but once you master it, you can always do it. But when a randomizer is literally throwing unblockable objects out at you, there are guaranteed losses involved.
Hmm.
It's not about your reactions, it's not about your skill, it's about bad tuning. And the thing is, NetherRealm agreed immediately. They said this is something that happens towards the end of development. We had schedule issues and we weren't able to retune that and check it the way we wanted to in time for launch. Because if you guys aren't aware, and now we're going to start praising the game, this is a big fighting game. There are a lot of modes in this game, and all of them are basically excellent. And so the towers, there's a lot of towers. So they didn't have time to go into all of the towers and double check it. They put their settings on, they said it, forget it. They wanted to come back to it. It just so happens that what left, launch was tuned below their standards. And they fixed it already. They lowered the bad guys had twice the health of your hero. When you play normal Mortal Kombat, everybody has the same health. So already you can jack the numbers up and make it impossible, right? So if I say, oh yeah, the towers are beatable, but it takes 25 combos to kill a boss, then literally that's amount of time. That's not amount of difficulty. And you're saying, so basically I don't get my coins until I spend 10 minutes beating this one character. So
Well,
you're
it's like,
saying for every so then you have an economy problem because
mhm.
I can calculate even in the most optimal scenario how much coins I get for how much investment I put in. And I'm saying it would take me until the end of the year to unlock the costumes. That's not enjoyable. That just makes me not want to touch your unlocks and not deal with it. And that's not what NetherRealm wants. They want you in the crypt, unlocking boxes, in the towers, playing the game, being rewarded for beating the people. And the thing is, NetherRealm has already come out and addressed this and said the community's right. So this isn't a scenario where their intended design is being softened. This is a scenario where the deadline crunch came on. They have a big, brilliant game. This slipped through the cracks. They've already fixed most of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not even saying that you're wrong. What I'm saying is just the notion of complaining about the difficulty of a game is just something that I never even thought about doing. I never did. I mean, I never thought it's just you beat it. That's what you do. You do. I mean, I can't tell you how many games over these 35, 38 years I've been gaming that I've come up to that I was like, this is freaking impossible. Like, I remember trying to figure out that you had to plug the controller into the second port to beat Psycho Mantis.
Right, right.
And it was like, what is going on? Like, why can't I do this? And I figured it out. And when I figured it out, it was like, oh my God, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? And but people don't want that experience anymore. They
Well,
don't.
I mean, I disagree on the sense that some of the, in fact, we've had this discussion a little bit before, and I do want to get back to the main thing of Mortal Kombat because it's a great game and it deserves to be spoken about. But on the difficulty thing, it goes back to what you said before. People are going to complain, right? Whiners are going to whine. So no matter what happens, there's going to be people whining about it. But if you look at some of the best games out, Overwatch, Rainbow Six, Siege, League of Legends, Dark Souls, Sekiro. I mean, on and on and on. Bloodborne. I would even say Spider-Man on the hardest difficulty, definitely. These games are hard, and
Hmm.
people love them. You know what I'm saying? Even Red Dead is not an easy game out of the
Red
box.
Dead's not easy at all.
Right. These are hard games, and people love them. So I don't think it's that people don't want it. I think what it is gamers are salty crybabies by nature,
Hmm.
and the internet is a microphone held up to somebody's face as they go through all of their gaming experiences. And it's basically Twitter should be called what you want to cry about,
Hmm.
right? So you hop on what you want to cry
I
about.com.
think I'm gonna create a acronym for Twitter that really defines whining.
Yeah. So people are going to cry. I agree with you on the sentiment that people don't put it on themselves to solve the problem enough. And we're losing the notion, the idea that you should discover the solution in a game. You shouldn't be told, you shouldn't look it up on YouTube. I talk about this with my brother all the time. It's not always fun to go on the YouTube thing and find the answers. Sometimes it's fun to just walk around that map until you discover it. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to solve those gaming problems yourself. And I think people do look for an easier way out. But I want to give the gaming community credit. They love these difficult games. Some of the most beloved games out there, some of the hardest games out there. So I don't think it's totally one sided, but it's just hard to see the whining and not, say that that's where things have gotten now. Because when we came up, you weren't allowed to whine. You were just a scrub
Yeah.
and you were ridiculed and shamed for it. And you deserve to be.
Yeah, and I just think that that's really still the same way. But it's like we used to complain, when games were hard. But as you said, the difference is when we complained when games were hard, we didn't have anywhere to go to take it to somebody where we could just get it out in front of everybody and like and get it actually changed. We couldn't we it wasn't that we didn't have that resource, but now it exists. But like you said, the game is fantastic.
Excellent game. I want to talk about how good the game is for a quick second before we get to what are the last part of our topic with Mortal Kombat. And I think it's a great game. It deserves an extended segment. Um, I was so shocked by how good the story mode was.
Whew,
When you talk about, they say, what's the best video game movie? Play the Mortal Kombat story mode. That's the best video game
that's the
movie.
video. That's the best one. It's really it's even better than Injustice 2 story.
Yes, and I've been impressed with the NetherRealm storytelling since Mortal Kombat 9. Though Mortal Kombat 9 was good, I thought Injustice 1 was very good. Mortal Kombat X was very good, and Injustice 2 was fantastic.
Yes,
But this right here, no exaggeration, their story and animation and design is better than Anthem's by a lot, which is
absolutely,
shocking.
absolutely.
Right, that a Mortal Kombat, you get like honestly, if y'all aren't interested in this game, rent it and beat the story mode. It's that good. It's rewarding to
Yeah,
rent this game and beat the story mode. It's dope.
yeah,
It is a perfect sci-fi fantasy action movie. It's bloody, it's dumb, it's funny, it's exciting. The choreography is excellent, and the graphics in this game are mind-blowing to me because when the characters are talking to each other in a cutscene, they will in the middle of the conversation you'll zoom out and they'll continue talking in their side to side fight pose as the guy's telling you to fight them,
yeah.
and it's just like almost disorienting how I don't want to say realistic 'cause that's a generic word, but just how developed the graphics look going into a normal fight. NetherRealm is advancing the fighting game genre every game they make now. This game is stellar.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm still only like 4 or 5 days into playing the game. Maybe 3 or 4 days playing it now. Man, I'm telling you, there is nothing that I don't like. Like, there's nothing that I like. I'm like, oh, well, I don't like that. I have not found the thing yet that is like, I don't like that. No, I really haven't. And that's saying a lot for me because the first night I spent, because they keep your time, how long you played it. So the first night I spent 2 hours and 40 minutes playing. Then the
Hmm.
next night I spent another hour and a half. I'm enough into this game to have found something I don't like,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I have not found something that I don't like yet.
Hmm.
So, yeah, man. I mean, for me right now, I mean, we're only through about 4 months, but it is absolutely the best game of the year so far to me, just top to bottom. I think it's
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. I don't think anything else that's come out
I
has been
can't think
close
of
to this.
anything else that came out so far this year that's better. MLB The Show is really, really, really good, but that because it's baseball and it has an actual reference point that it has to emulate, it's at a little bit of a disadvantage because you can always say, "Oh, well, this real thing is in real baseball and yours isn't."
You
But
know what?
even if you
I
don't do that, even if you just say, if you only compare MLB The Show to other sports games, there are some sports games that do some things better than the show. So
yeah.
because of that, I would say Mortal Kombat 11 is better because I don't know a lot of fighting games. I can't think of one all right now that executes what it's trying to do better than what Mortal Kombat how it executes what it's trying to do. So
Yeah, and from a hardcore standpoint, this game is a better fighting game, technically. On
yes,
top of being a better casual game, just the graphics and the music and the character design and the features, all that stuff is great. But as a fighting game, it's a better fighting game.
it's so
Um,
slick.
yeah, the slickness, the movement. I'm going to throw out some terms you guys might not know, but stuff like footsies and whiff punishing that normally you're used to from Street Fighter, much better in this game from NetherRealm. It even has wave dashing in it. Wave dashing is this thing where you can speed up your dash by doing a really technical input in the game. where your character kind of slides across the screen. NetherRealm says they're aware of it. They're leaving it in. They like that it's there. Normally, you see it in Marvel vs. Capcom or Smash Brothers, and it's in Mortal Kombat, which means aggressive characters have an extra tool to pursue their opponents, but still be able to block, which changes the dynamics of the game. This game is real. The fighting game community is really excited about it. The tournaments in Brooklyn and California were absolutely popping. Out here in New York City, the greatest Mortal Kombat player ever, Sonic Fox, he's living here now. He goes to NYU. He was here playing in tournament. Really exciting so far, man. Just really, really dope.
Yeah, I'm loving the game. I really am.
So, speaking of loving the game, you're terrible. And it's okay. We're all terrible.
I started to turn on. I started to turn on and let y'all watch me win, but I said that's okay. I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
So we had a topic real quick. We was talking about it. Brian was saying to me that he was trying to get good with Jackson, just couldn't do it.
Right.
And so what I was saying to him was basically, let me tell you guys how to get good at a character in this game. Like particularly if you're new to Mortal Kombat or fighting games, it all comes down to a few key things. Number one, first and foremost, when you pick a character, figure out what their overall game plan is. It's not about the combos, it's about what's their game plan. Is their game plan to put your opponent in the corner and mix them up, go high, go low, go throw? Is the game plan to zone them out with fireballs? Or is the game plan to keep them in the neutral zone and just hit them with really good buttons? Those are your three basic kind of game plans in Mortal Kombat. Mix up, zoning, or buttons. Once you figure out your game plan and you get some basic combos, you don't need the best combos in the world. Just get some good basic ones. Learn how to use your meter to get more damage. The next thing you want to do is figure out your opponent's game plan. As you fight a character and you get hit with stuff, don't just lose and be salty. Ask what you might have been able to do to stop it. And to
Yeah.
do that, you need to get a hold of that character, do it yourself in like training mode, and just see what stops it. Does it block high, block low? Do I punish it? A lot of things in the game that are really fast, you could just duck and uppercut it. They'll move with you, right?
Yeah.
So figure out your counters to what your opponent is doing. And then after that, you have to understand that fighting games are a mind game. So once you know your game plan and you know their game plan and they know their game plan and they know your game plan, it's about what do you think I'm going to do? Do you think I'm going to jump? Do you think I'm going to block? Do you think I'm going to press a button? Do you think I'm going to stop this string or am I going to continue it? It's all about that stuff. Once you learn those three basic things, you can get good at any character in this game. Mortal Kombat's not a difficult game to get solid at. Not good, but you can at least get solid, get a bunch of wins online, beat up on your friends. Learn your game plan, their game plan, and learn how to block.
I would agree. I am currently implementing those strategies right now. I just hit Jax in the stomach with I could show you, but you guys, you're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready. I could show Nelson my skills firsthand, but I don't think that I don't want him to get intimidated and not
Yeah,
show up for
please.
the game.
You
I don't
want the
want
stream to happen.
to. Is that what it's gonna be? Is that what it's gonna be? Is that how it's going to be?